Hey guys, what's up? It's CaptainBaconater with another chaotic related video. So I thought it would be fun to do a little deck profile on my chaotic decks, and this one's my Underworld deck. I have some extra creatures and I think extra battle gear. Yeah, I have an extra battle gear in here for every time I want to swap out strategies and stuff. However, my music attacks and locations are made for the 6v6 format. Of course, with the attacks, for 6v6, there's a 20 build cost for your deck building. And for 3v3, it's 10. And I believe 1v1, it's like 5. So I could be wrong on that. Somebody please correct me down below. But anyways, so I want to get you guys looking at something. So let's kick it off with, my KOR card. That way you guys can have something to look at. So that is my Dawn of Param KOR card from the original Dawn of Param set. It even has the KOR cannot be entered in mixed armies. But something I do want to show off real quick, while this is fresh in my mind, is I had a good friend of mine. I will put his chaotic Discord name down below, but he made me some Screamer proxy cards, and these codes obviously don't work because they're fake codes. They're based on the codes that are on Eddie X's Screamer, and using the chaotic wiki, we used data and all that to determine and make these. So if you guys want to see these in a little drone match to see how they work, how he works and all that, let me know in the comments down below. But in the meantime, let's actually go through the actual deck, because Screamer's in there for proxy use in case anyone is like, oh hey, you got Screamer, let's play. So back to the topic at hand, we'll start with creatures, then battle gear, music, attack, and location. So we're going to start off with KOR from the Dawn of Param set. He's very awesome, 105 courage, 95 power, 65 wisdom, 65 speed. Very solid. 3 musics, obviously, 70 energy. His special ability is you get rid of all 3 of your music counters and you dispel an overworld music or ability that targets him. I don't use his ability for that. I just have him for the music counters, and plus it's classic KOR. So something that I like to do with this KOR at least is I put him in my little scanner tin. So what I do is I place it right into the position, and then I take the top part of my scanner and I close it. Therefore, bam, look at that. Now, here, I'm gonna adjust it real quick so that way it's not all oogity poopity. There we go. Now it's cleaner. There we go. And that's how I have him displayed. But anyways, let's go off with the main army that I possess. We'll start off with KOR the Fierce. 80 courage, 95 power, 35 wisdom, 45 speed, 70 energy, no music counters, and he's got fire. And his ability is that he has fire 10, meaning all his fire attacks do an additional 10 damage. He's unique and loyal. Unique meaning there can only be one KOR in this deck, or a card with the name KOR in it. And he's loyal, meaning I can only have him in an Underworld themed army, which works out. So, and forgive me, I'm going to have to cover up the bottoms of these cards, at least to the best of my abilities. Next will be Noventa, because when the game comes back, I'll be using the codes. That's why I deleted the other videos, so sorry. Next is going to be Noventa. She's an Underworld Conqueror Mage. Oh yeah, I should probably mention that KOR the Fierce is a Underworld Conqueror Warrior. And he bounces off relatively well with Noventa, which is 35 courage, 45 power, 90 wisdom, and 70 speed. 3 music counters, and she has 25 energy. Unique and loyal, same style as KOR the Fierce. 3 music counters, like I said, and her abilities are she could get rid of a music counter, target creature which dealt attack damage this turn gains element 10 of your choice. So for example, if I attacked with KOR and I gave him another element 10, he would have fire 20, or he can have earth 10, or air 10, or water 10, but I use fire attacks, so Yeah, and some earth attacks here and there. You'll see when I do it. And warriors you control gain 10 in each discipline, meaning that Chaos stats in this case would be 90, 105, 45, and 55. So that's Noventa, and I use her as like my primary source for music. Next, this card is not all that special, but it's Savitsa. I actually really like Savitsa a lot, so I'm trying to figure out a way to... There we go. That way I can show you the whole card while covering the code as best as I can. So this is Savitsa. He's 30 courage, 60 power, 35 wisdom, 80 speed, 1 music, 60 energy. He has fire, and his ability is expend fire, which means get rid of fire, while engaged, meaning he has to be in combat. Both players discard 2 attack cards and draw 2 attack cards. I have him as like a little pawn, plus I really like his design, very gargoyle-esque, and if you guys are longtime fans of mine, you know that I like gargoyles. So, and when I say longtime fans, I mean from my other channels. Next is going to be Rothar, Forceful Negotiator. It's a really good card. It's 55 courage, 105 power, 60 wisdom, 55 speed, 75 energy, no music. He has to move to an adjacent occupied space, meaning that he has to do fights. That's his ability. I swap him out time to time because I have a strategy that I like to use, but yeah. Anyway, so that's Rothar. And I really like this one, Kiru. This was one of my very first rares from the Secrets of the Lost City. I think it is actually my first Underworld rare at all, because I actually recently got that Kaor Donaparam. So it's 75 courage, 85 power, 50 wisdom, 85 speed, no music, 55 energy. He has fire and earth, and whenever he wins a combat, put a leadership counter on it, and other creatures I control have an additional 10 energy for each leadership counter on him. So he's really good if I have him doing all the fights to begin with, and then protect him, and use like Kaor the Fierce, and he already has 70 energy. So if he has, 80 energy and then 90 energy, he has the potential to have, let's see, let me just do some math off the top of my head. So he could have at most 130 energy, which is awesome. So next is Hammerdoom Chant Caller, the shorty boy. He's canonically very short. So it's 55 courage, 65 power, 35 wisdom, 50... oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention that Kiru, Rothar, and Savitsa all are not unique or loyal, so you can have them in mixed armies, meaning like you can have like Underworld, like him in there. You can also have an Overworld, Danian, Mepedian, Marillion, as well as Tribeless in there. But anyway, 55 courage, 65 power, 35 wisdom, 50 speed, 1 music, 60 energy, fire. Attacks played by Hammerdoom deal 5 damage to Danians. If Hive is active, they deal an additional 5 to Underworld creatures instead. So if he's got Hive, he does damage to Underworlders, but if it's not, it's Danians. So yeah, there's that. Next, I want to show off Blades. 0 music, 60 energy, 70 courage, 95 power, 40 wisdom, 20 speed, fire and air attacks. He's also rare, and I really like Blades. I like his effect, which is attack. If an attack card played by Blades would deal 0, it does 15, which is great. And he works also really well in my Marillion deck because attacks played by Blades gain opposing creature, engaged creature loses 10 to all disciplines. And that'll make sense whenever I do my Marillion deck video, and that will make sense. Anyway, so the next one I also want to show off, this is the last one. It's Cyranox, and he's from the unreleased Fire and Stone set. I'm using both my thumbs to cover this so I can hold it. He's really awesome. He was in Eddie X's army. He's an Underworld warrior. A lot of these are warriors. 45 courage, 85 power, 30 wisdom, 40 speed, no music, 55 energy, with fire attacks, and his special ability is while all my creatures have fire, he deals an additional 5 damage. That's not to say that he has fire 5. So if all my creatures have fire and I have an attack that would deal 0 damage, it does 5 damage because of his effect. So now let's go over the battle gear. So we have 2 copies of the Sun Chariot of Kenshep, which is when the creature becomes engaged, it gains fire. Same deal. Then we have the Giganta Trooper. I love the Giganta Trooper. At the beginning of combat, equipped creature loses all abilities, and it gains 70 in all disciplines and 70 energy, is what its scan energy will be. Which is so cool. Yeah, no, I love it. Next is the Whipcrack. Equipped creature gains 15 power, and an Underworlder would have Fire 5 included. And I have 2 of those, so... Oh, whoops, I totally accidentally show off the code for that, but... Yeah. So next is the Vile Driver. Creature gains Fire 5. Pretty solid. Put that right there. And then last but not least, for battle gear, it is the Doom Hammer. Equipped creature deals an additional 5 attack damage to Underworld and Danians. If its equipped creature is a Danian, it gains an additional Earth 5. If it's an Underworlder, it gains 50 power. So that works really well with power-themed attacks and getting power stat checks and all that. So those are all my battle gear for this army. So let's move over to the Mujiks, shall we? So this is the Melody of Malady. Target creature gains 10 energy and deal 5 damage to another target engaged creature. It costs 1 Mujik. It's Underworld. This one, Improvisational Melody. It requires 2 Mujik counters. You deal 10 damage to target creature. If your engaged creature has dealt 20 or more attack damage this turn, it's costs 0. Like it's a free Mujik. I love it. Then I have 2 Song of Revivals. Gee, I wonder why. Return target Underworld creature from your discard pile to a space. It's a revive. It's lovely. Next is Refrain of Denial. Dispel target generic or overworld Mujik. And last but not least, the Cannon of Casualty. Very classic. It deals 20 damage to a creature. Also, for those of you who are wondering what these were... Focus camera. Thank you. What? Stop it. These are the musician symbols and musical notes that were made to play the Mujik online. So if anyone actually has like a reference to go like, oh, that translates to this key or that key, let me know down below, because I would love to know what a lot of these Mujiks sound like. Obviously, Cannon of Casualty, I know what that sounds like. I've watched the show. So next, we're going to move on to the attacks. So remember, this is for a 6v6 army. So this is a 20 build attack deck, which of course I can edit it to be 10 for 3v3. So we have Sudden Flare. It deals 10 base, 5 fire, and its ability is Stat Check Wisdom 60, deal 5 damage. Then it's going to be Fire Ram, 10 base, 10 fire, Stat Check 60 power, deal 10, so 30 damage total. Evaporize, heal 10 energy, Courage 15 challenge. Web Cocoon, 5 attack damage, but if I have power 50, it gains elemental type fire. That works well if I use like Savitsa. Consuming Flame, 15 fire. Ember Swarm, that is 5 base, 5 fire. And obviously if I have fire, opposing creature loses 25 wisdom. Magma Might, it is a 15 base, 15 fire. And its ability is fire, destroy opposing engaged creature's battle gear. That's helpful. Smoke Surge, if the opposing creature has fire, it deals 0 damage, but it's 5 fire. Might Swing, if I control unknown... 5 fire, 5 base, and 5 air. If I control no underworld creatures, it deals 0. So that's why I have it. And there's another one. Another Smoke Surge. We already went through that. Shriek Shock. Speed 50, deal 5. Flame Bloom. 0 across the board for fire and water and base. But if I have fire, I can heal 5, and if I have water, I gain 10 wisdom. But let's say I have fire 5, Flame Bloom would deal 5 damage, or KO, the fiercest case, 10 damage, and so on and so forth. Consuming Flame, we already saw that, 15. Flame Orb, very classic. 5 base, 5 fire. It does, if I have 75 power, deals another 10. Another Evaporize for healing. Another Web Cocoon. Ash Torrent, 0 base, 5 fire, 5 earth, deals 10 damage if I beat the challenge of power 15. Ember Swarm, we already saw that. And last but not least, Incinerate, in case if I'm in a pinch, it does 10 damage. However, I would lose fire attacks if I so happen to use that attack. Again, I use that as like a pinch type deal. Or if I have Web Cocoon, and I can easily just throw it up. Next, we're going to go over locations. This is, oh man, this is going to be difficult. Here we go. I'll just do it like this. The Passage to the Underworld. Initiative meaning like who does the first attack. Underworld. The first time a creature would lose an elemental type, it loses 10 energy. I really should add Elemental Denial to this deck if I'm going to run the Passage. But I really want 2 Underworld cities. So if anyone out there is watching, it has an Underworld city classic, 2 of them, please let me know because it would mean a lot to me. Next is the Kordak Falls Plunge Pool. Initiative Underworld. At the beginning of combat, deal 5 damage to all engaged creatures. Stone Pillar. Initiative is Wisdom. First music card casted by an Underworld creature. Costs 1 less music. So I can play Canon of Casualty for free in my first music. Or I can only pay 1 for Song of Revival. Next is the Lava Pond, very classic. Initiative is Speed. Fire attacks deal an additional 5. Air is reduced by 5, but Magmon gains fire 5. Magmon's the name of a creature. I used to run Magmon, but I wound up finding this strategy, and it's wound up working really freaking well for me. Next is going to be Underworld Coliseum. Initiative is Speed. All creatures with elemental type fire deal an additional 10 damage on their first attack. That's really nice. Next is another Lava Pond. Oh, and by the way, in case you guys are wondering, the rule is you can only have a maximum of 2 copies of a specific card in your deck, unless it's unique or legendary. So, next is Wooden Pillar. In case you can't tell, that is meant to target Overworlders. Next is the Underworld Coliseum. Kaz and Hammerdoom fought here. And the idea is it's initiative, speed, and creatures with elemental type fire deal an additional 10 on the first attack. Already went over that. Another Stone Pillar. And last but not least, the Pits. Engaged creatures gain outperform power 5. Speed is reduced by 5. So with that being said, that is my Chaotic Underworld deck. Let me know what you guys think down below, and if there's a way where I can actually really improve this deck, I'd appreciate that. This deck really has not been messed with for too long in terms of, by the time I was playing Chaotic as well as playing Chaotic with other friends and all that. So that being said, let me know what you guys thought down below, and if you guys want to see Screamer in action in a battle, I think it'd be really cool. Screamer is my favorite creature. Granted, some of these are kind of cut, kind of funny, but at the same time, I kind of don't care. I might trim that up with like a little box cutter right there, just so it looks nice and pristine. And then the same thing right over there on top. But yeah, I don't plan on removing these from their sleeves. In terms of, actually, while I have this...
Hey, baby.
Hi.
Sorry, I was talking to Gary.
I'm recording.
Oh. Sorry, honey.
That's the love of my life. That's my fiance. Say hi, fiance.
Hello.
Yeah, this is his deck profile.
Cool.
Anyway, you actually came like right at the end because I was about to sign off.
Cool.
So with that being said, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.